As the popularity of Korean beauty continues to grow overseas, so too does the popularity of Korean skincare ingredients. So which three are taking off? Tune in to find out. Plus, we're discussing a popular toner that's breaking a lot of people out, the best Korean vitamin C serums, and more. Hello and welcome to the Korean Beauty Show podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Lee, K-beauty expert, the founder of Style Story, where you can shop, learn and explore the world of Korean skincare, and the founder of Korean beauty brand Jellyco. So on today's episode, we are going to be running through the latest in K-beauty news. We're going to be doing some product recommendations, answering a listener's question, and more. So to kick things off, Beauty Nuri has been reporting in the local Korean media that there are three Korean ingredients in particular that are really taking off overseas. And what they've put this down to is the growing interest in Korean beauty overseas and the growing interest in Korean skincare ingredients. So more and more brands are releasing products that use Korean ingredients, and they are saying that this is because of the success of some brands that are really focusing on traditional Korean ingredients overseas. So they are exporting their products in a way and their brand in a way that kind of differentiates them from local products by emphasizing their Koreanness, and they're really bringing Korean ingredients to the fore, in addition to emphasizing things like efficacy, eco-friendliness, and high function. So three ingredients in particular are really taking hold, I guess you could say, overseas. One of them is hemp, that is very popular in China. Another is red ginseng, which we have discussed many times on the show. So I won't go into that in as much detail, just because I think we've really gone through that quite a lot recently on the brands that are sort of focusing on it and on the differences between different kinds of ginsengs as well. Now, another ingredient that is also extremely popular, not just overseas, but in Korea as well, is tangerine. And Jeju green tangerines are rich in lots of different vitamins, and they also have a lot of vitamin C, natural vitamin C content. And one of the things that makes them a little bit special is that they can only be collected for 4 weeks a year. So this is a special kind of tangerine that is grown on Jeju Island. You can eat them. They are very delicious, and they're a bit of a specialty in Korea as well. You'll find them in, foods as well as skincare products, but they are actually an effective ingredient for skin whitening or brightening, as we call it in English, as well as removing blemishes. So that's why they're so popular. So this article, which was published in Korean, was talking through some of the companies that are leading the way in using these ingredients as their main sort of focus, and the methods that they are using to attract global audiences. So one of the things that a lot of these brands were doing was using global brand ambassadors. So either like Hollywood celebrities or internationally famous K-pop stars to really capture the global audience. Some of them are hosting like international events overseas at big locations like the Met in New York, and then also focusing on e-commerce platforms as well, like Amazon, which, obviously a lot of people shop on Amazon, so it's a good way to get in front of new markets. But basically, as the, popularity of the category continues to grow, so too does the popularity of specifically Korean ingredients. So I thought that was an interesting article that I would share with you. I know a lot of our listeners probably will have already tried some of these ingredients, but just in case you were wondering, that's sort of what is leading the way globally around the world with K-beauty at the moment. The second piece of news I had for you was an article in Australian Elle magazine, and they actually quoted me on vitamin C serums. So they were covering the top 7 Korean vitamin C serums that will make your skin look dangerously good. And they featured yours truly, basically talking about how, they are very popular for a very good reason. And that is that they have the ability to fight free radicals, the capacity to help your skin produce collagen naturally. Basically, they really pack a punch. So they were running through a roundup of some of the best Korean serums. Some of the ones that I will link to here included the COSRX Vitamin C23 serum, which is quite a potent vitamin C serum, definitely not one for beginners. They also mentioned the By Wish Trend Pure Vitamin C 21.5 Advanced Serum as well. So again, not really one for beginners. And Some By Me's Yuja Niacin Serum. So this is another one of those ones that I think is really using a very Korean type of ingredient, Yuja being a citrus fruit. And Yuja is high naturally in vitamin C. So they are using basically that as like a derivative rather than pure vitamin C. So that was just a little bit of a roundup. I will have links to those 3 products in the show notes for you in case you are interested in any of them. And remember, if you do love the show and you want to support us, you can buy our Korean beauty products on stylestory.com.au. You can buy them on jellyco.com or even via Amazon. We actually have a Jellyco store at the moment. It's only in the US and Australia, but keep your ears peeled because we may have news on that front hopefully soon. But yes, I just thought I would add that in case anyone is interested in supporting the show. Of course, there are other ways you can support the show. Leave us a rating or a review. You can just share the show if you have like a Facebook group that you're in, or, you know, even if you just drop them in the group thread. I know I drop my favorite podcast recommendations in the group thread all the time. My family are all avid podcast listeners. Everyone's got like their own genre that they're interested in. My mom is like deep down a true crime rabbit hole at the moment, so I'm feeding her all of those ones. My brother is a big fan of like anything that has like people doing the wrong thing. So we've liked a lot of the ones that are on like, you know, Bitcoin people going rogue and doing all of that sort of thing. But if you have a group thread where people like podcasts, just drop it in if you think it might fly there as well. All right, now we did have a question of the week coming through from actually one of our Style Story customers, and she was wondering, could Anua's Heartleaf Soothing Toner have broken me out? And when it comes to questions of could X be breaking me out, the answer is always yes. Anything can break anyone out. If you are allergic to or sensitive to one of the ingredients in the formula, it would not matter. It can break you out. So if you experience anything like itching, or you see like a red kind of reaction after you've used a product, then that is one way to sort of get your spidey senses up. You know, it may be an issue. It does depend on the type of product because of course, some products will make you purge before they start working. But as a general blanket rule, yes, literally anything can break anyone out. And I have seen pretty much every single product that you could think of. There will be at least one person that it just doesn't work for. Just because skin and skincare is so personal. So the answer is yes, it can. However, I will say in general for this toner, this one does seem to be one that your skin either loves or hates. It is it's going viral at the moment. So it is extremely popular. A lot of people are buying it, but it is definitely possible that it is causing you to break out. I have seen a lot of feedback and commentary that it is breaking out a lot of people. It's probably 50-50. Again, it seems to be one of those ones that people either absolutely love and they're obsessed with it, or it just doesn't work for their skin. But I think the other important thing that this shows is that just because a product contains an ingredient that promises and is able to soothe your skin, like Heartleaf, which is actually a great ingredient, it doesn't mean that it will be soothing for everyone. And that comes back again to how personal skincare is. So, you know, there are lots of really soothing ingredients, anti-inflammatories that do not work for everyone. Another one that I can think of is mugwort. So just be aware that, you know, just because it works for everyone else, it could still be contributing to your breakouts. The only way you're going to know is to listen to your skin. So, you know, that's why it pays to introduce products properly every time you're introducing a new product. Patch test them first, introduce them in isolation to everything else, and introduce one new product at a time and give it a few weeks and see how you go. That is the only way that I know of. If you know of another way to test that theory out, let me know. But that is the only way that I know of to make sure for a fact that a product is the right fit for your skin. And I know most people don't like to hear that, and they don't like to wait, especially if they've gone out and bought a whole bunch of new products. But that is just the best way that I know of to work out, short of like going and getting like a skin allergy test done, which is definitely possible. I've had to do that myself because I just could not get to the bottom of what was causing issues for my skin after, months and months and months. So that's a possibility. That is definitely not the easiest way, and it's also not the quickest way. It also takes about a week. So, that is just my advice, is just keep open to the idea that anything, no matter how popular it is, no matter if it's like the next big thing, technically, yes, it's possible that you can break out even in a product that everybody else loves. So I hope that answered your question, and I hope that that is useful information. Now, for this week, we had a new Korean beauty review. This one was for our Jellicoe Cherry Blossom Sleeping Mask. So this was a 5-star review, and our reviewer said, "This mask smells heavenly. I love the texture and feel of it on my face. I'm skeptical of products like this, but this one has actually made a difference and given me the results I was hoping for. It makes my skin look plump, hydrated, and moisturized the next day. Highly recommend." So thank you very much for our reviewer who left that review. Now, this mask is actually sold out at the moment. We are only accepting orders on pre-order. So make sure that you do sort of get it if you want it. And I will also let you guys know that this will be the last release for this specific version of the mask. And the reason for that is that we are upgrading it. So it will be undergoing changes, but we are going to be the last release that we're doing will be for this current version of the mask. So stay tuned for further news. But in my opinion, the upgrades are actually upgrades. We're not just saying it's an upgrade. It actually is. We've been working behind the scenes with one really, really exciting new ingredient that has I think will be really popular. That is a game changer for your skin, as well as some tried and tested ones that I know for a fact you are going to love. So that will be in the next version of the mask. But for now, this is the version. So if you absolutely love it, then make sure you stock up on the restock as well. Now, for this week's recommendation of the week, I basically have 2 recommendations depending on where in the world you are. If you are in the Northern Hemisphere like I am, now is the time to be thinking about what sunscreen you are going to be using when it warms up. It is getting warmer day by day, which means you're going to be spending more time outside, probably if you're anything like me. So now's the time to think about the perfect SPF for you. Make sure you are applying it properly with the adequate amount as well. So around 3 finger lengths of product is my general rule. So if you're going outside, just hold up 3 of your fingers, squirt the SPF along those, and once you get to 3, stop and apply it to your face. Remember that you also do need to reapply if you are going to be out in the sun all day as well. And if you are in somewhere that has a lot of UV, you're going to want to make sure that the PA level of your sunscreen is up to scratch and that you have a high level of PA. So a lot of brands, not all brands, but a lot of brands will actually release the figures for that. In Australia, if you have an SPF of 50, it must be at least a PA of 20. So keep that in mind. That's about as low as I would go. For me personally. So the other thing to keep in mind is waterproofing. Are you sweating? Is it really hot and humid where you are going to be spending a lot of time out? If you're going to be spending a lot of time outdoors, take that into account. And the other thing is if you are going to be swimming or anything like that, you are going to want to make sure that you reapply. Check the waterproofing of your sunscreen as well. Now, if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's getting colder over there. You're going to maybe want to start thinking about adding some heavier textures back into your skincare routine at this time of year, either through maybe some serums or mists and your moisturizers. You might find that particularly as the seasons are changing, your skin needs change as well. So just keep that in your radar. If your skin suddenly starts freaking out, chances are it's going to be because of the weather. So just keep that in mind. If you need to make a few little alterations, now is the time to do it. So that is my recommendation or recommendations for the week, depending on where you are. All right, I'm going to finish it up here for this week. I will be back in your ears soon. And until then, I will see you on Style Story.